Salutations everyone, welcome to a brand new type of video today. I'm bringing you guys a Spellbreak gameplay, which is a free-to-play, free-to-download Battle Royale available on PC, Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo Switch. So no matter what you got, you can play this game for free, and it's only like 4 gigs or something, so pretty quick download. And I think it's the best Battle Royale out there, hands down. Like, if you're like not a first-person shooter, so like Warzone and Apex don't catch your fancy, and if Hyperscape and Fortnite don't look like your type of thing, but because like it seems a bit too daunting because of how accurate have to be or building or stuff like that. This is the thing for you. It's got great movement, it's got great combat, it's quite unique. The art style is fantastic, absolutely love it. It reminds me of Dragon Prince, which you have not seen, is an amazing cartoon on Netflix. I highly recommend it. So the landing is pretty simple and streamlined. There's no bus, there's no plane. You just pick out of a couple of different places of where you can drop. Every single match, there's different places you can drop, and you just pick one of them, and you start right on top, and you start going to work. And as far as the combat goes, I think this is either a new player or a bot. Sometimes it's hard to tell. There are some bots, like the lower levels, there are some bots, or if they're like filling out. But for almost all the games you play, most of the players will be regular people. But it only starts off with 42, so it's a bit easier to win than your Fortnites or your Warzones or your Apexes. Well, about as the same as the Apexes as far as like enemies that you have to defeat. But you have 6 different gauntlets that you can choose from. You pick the one that you start off with, and then you get to find whichever one that you want just on the ground via chests, just kind of like any other Battle Royale out there. So it's pretty simple, but the movement is super cool, and the combat is very awesome, and it's fluid, it's high intensity, it's very rewarding when you get each and every single kill. I think I dropped 8 kills here in this game, and this was only like my 3rd or 4th solo game. I played quite a few squads and duos on stream, and I'm absolutely loving this game right now. So you get to pick between 6 different gauntlets. You have fire, ice, wind, stone, electric, and toxic. So your ice, which is it's like a bow and arrow, so it's kind of like a sniper rifle. And then you have the fire, which is kind of like a rocket launcher, slow projectile, a little bit of a blast radius. But you definitely want to get the direct hits on it to make it anything worthwhile. Your lightning's kind of like an assault rifle. Your poison's kind of like a shotgun. Your wind is kind of like a submachine gun. And your stone, you just slam the ground, and a little quake in a line appears, kind of like seismic slam if you played any sort of Diablo. So those are the types, and you get to pick one. You have the different rarities. You start off with your bog standard whites, and then you find your green, blue, purple, and gold. And you have 3 different types of equipment. There's like not a lot to like keep track of. Your armor is your belt. And then you have your amulet, which will reduce the amount of mana that using your spells takes. And then you have your boots, which help you run faster. And then there's also a rune, which will typically be a movement ability, like a dash, or a teleport, or a flight, or an extra jump, or stuff like that. And it's the movement that really sets this game apart. Like, if you are into Fortnite, when you get the cool like shockwave, grenades, and the crash pads, and you kind of love that movement of it and that sort of gameplay, especially when it comes to like aerial shots, but you suck at building or you hate building like myself, then this is absolutely the game for you. I mean, it has microtransactions if you want to buy cool looking skins. It's all cosmetic, 100% of it, and you get a decent amount every time you level up. You get free gold every single time, and you can use that gold in the store, so you don't even have to pay if you just want to save up for a certain skin that you see in the store. And they have a couple of 100 skins now that they've just started releasing now that the game is live for all platforms, and so those are churning out. So you have health potions and shield potions. Health replenishes health, shield replenishes your shields. And then you have the scrolls, which you can pick up. As you can see, I got my talent upgraded. So you get to choose between 3 talents. So you unlock more as you level up. And so, like, you'll get... I'm running mana cost right now, so I'll be able to do more damage when I have full mana. And there's another one where you can get extra rune charges and I have dexterity here in my ice build, which allows my flight ability that everybody has to cost less mana, and I get to hover in the air a little bit more, which is really helpful for ice. And I also am running thirst, which allows me to drink my potions a bit faster. So the thing is with the gameplay of this game, it's not very frustrating. Like, there's not like, you know, some bullshit that, you know, keeps on happening. A lot of this game is kind of up to your movement, your awareness, and how you control your own movements, the type of engagements that you make. You know, you're not going to get one shot outside of, you know, you just started the game, you don't have a belt, and then somebody hits you with a rare stone gauntlet or something. So the engagements are going to be quite drawn out. If you use your movement correctly, you can lose your opponent. And if you use your movement correctly, you can make sure that they can't lose you. So it's very, very movement based, and that definitely sets it apart. It's much more fluid and free than your Apexes or your Hyperscapes, which are, you know, the better movement options when it comes to the battle royales. But this game is just so much fun. The different types of gauntlets and the combinations that you use definitely vary how you engage and what kind of spells that you're going to use. Each gauntlet also has a second ability. So my frost one, I do a little AoE freeze that blocks any incoming projectiles and freezes anybody that's in it. With fire, it's a firewall. With stone, you throw a giant boulder, because otherwise you can only hit people on the ground. With wind, you make a tornado that sucks people in. And you can also have your opponents or your teammates' powers go in conjunction with one another. So the tornado can be set on fire, or it can be set on poison, and your poison cloud can then be set on fire to make dragon fire, or you can make a fire tornado set to be dragon fire, or you can throw your boulder and light it on fire and it does even more damage, or freeze a poison cloud so you can trap somebody and then you can detonate that with electricity. So there's like a lot of different combos that your different gauntlets and powers and sorceries can be used in conjunction with one another. And here I'm almost dead. So you take storm damage just like any other game, but you know, especially with frost, I can frozone the ground here, which is really, really fun to do. And with the wind gauntlets, you have a bit of extra flight mobility by shooting your wind gauntlets against the ground so you can get height without using your flight, or shoot it at the wall to give you a little bit more horizontal momentum. And then obviously you have your runes, and I'm using the dash rune right here, so pretty self-explanatory. So it's a really fun game. It's got solos, duos, and squads, which is trios. So 1, 2, or 3. I don't know why it's trios and squads instead of trios, but you know, whatever. Because usually squads is like 4 or more, depending on the different type of game that you have. But yeah, so solos, duos, and trios. You can definitely change up the different types of strategies that you want based off of the game mode that you're in. When it comes to running things that are a little bit more solo based. But sometimes you might want to combine with your teammates with whatever gauntlets that they might be using, so you can pull off more consistent combos. And so it's got a lot to do with flight and the movements and how you use the cooldown of your abilities. It's quite strategic. A lot of the best players out there, if you're looking for like the highest level gameplay, I'd recommend Marcus, aka Apostle. He seems to be the #1 guy on YouTube, and also is the most watched on the Spellbreak Twitch directory as well. But if you guys enjoy this content, I'd be happy to make a lot more. At the very least, I'll be throwing up my stream highlights out there, because I really, really dig in this game and would like to make more content, whether it be streaming or videos with this thing. So it's rather simple. It's not super daunting. You just kind of got to get used to the movements, get used to using your abilities in specific situations. You know, sometimes things can be frustrating. Stone gauntlets are a little OP because if you land at the very beginning with something like ice or wind, and someone lands right next to you with stone, if they use stone, they're getting free armor even if they don't have a belt. It only goes up to 20 armor, but you can end up doubling the amount of damage that they do and still lose the fight. But it has a lot to do with, using your terrain. If you're using ice, you want to get that high ground and snipe. If you're a stone gauntlet, you want to keep things grounded. But obviously, you're going to want to have like a short range and a long range gauntlet. Or you can use triple gauntlets if you've upgraded that ability. So you can pull off even more combos, which can be really fun for like those high kill gameplays in solos. I feel like that would be more useful than in duos or quads. But there's a lot of different ways that you can play this game, and it's also just fun to just try to kind of master all the different kinds of gauntlets. If you want things to be hard or be difficult, or just kind of change things up, go for different kinds of combos. You can go for high kill gameplays, or you can be a little toxic invis little asshole and just get behind people and shotgun them with your poison. So there's a lot of different types of gameplay. You can feather fall up in the air and electrocute all the people. You can go with frost and try to highlight people for big kill gameplays. So there's a lot of different ways that you can play the game without it being too much to handle, too many things to remember and keep track of. This person has a little cheat death evolution that you can spec into if you want, but it's not that useful because it gives your opponent enough time to pop off a health pot or a shield pot if it's a small one, and you're basically one shot when you come out of there. But if you're running duos or squads, it might be a little bit more useful. You can get away, use your escape ability, whatever that may be, and get to your teammates or hide somewhere. So every little ability has its uses depending on the game mode, or what type of terrain that you're in, or what type of gauntlets that you're using. So it's really, really cool. I love sniping. I also love the movements that the wind gauntlets give me, even though they're not, they don't pack the most punch. They're fairly weak. Although I did just break my personal best on solo kills with 10 using the wind gauntlets just earlier today on stream. So you can make anything work. If you want to try a specific playstyle or a specific gauntlet, there's definitely a strategy out there that you can use to maximize your efficiency, whether you want to go full long range, full short range, have a mix of both, or just using different types of combos. So it's a really, really fun game. Obviously, I'm not sponsored because this is going to get like 20 views. Who's going to sponsor that? It's just a really fun game, and I recommend it. I feel like it's flown under the radar. It has been in beta for PC for quite some time. It's gone over quite a few changes with the terrain of the map and the balance of the gauntlets. And obviously we can expect more in the future. And I think that this is honestly the best battle royale out there. It's definitely really easy for newcomers to to battle royales or to third-person action, high intense combat, or just really anything at all, because it's free. It's a quick download, so even if you don't have much storage space on your PS4 or your Xbox, or hell, your Switch, because that thing has got like 100 megabytes worth of memory, right? It doesn't take up much room. It's free. I really dig the aesthetic. I love the movements, and I've gotten a couple people to play the game that haven't liked battle royales in the past, whether they've tried others or not, and just didn't feel like it was the right one for them. I've said, some of them have said that, even if they don't like it a lot, it's still their favorite battle royale that they've ever seen or tried out. But yeah, I dropped a nice 8-bomb, 1580 damage game here, so that was pretty fun. Things get really hectic in that final circle, especially if it's quads, or if it's squads. And it's just a fun game. It's a fun game, and I highly recommend it. It's fun with with your friends. Skill-based matchmaking, of course, exists in some capacity, but you watch the high-level players play, and they're winning the vast majority of their games. But you can't say that about most other games when people are running solo, right? So skill matters, and there's not a whole lot of bullshit or cheesy comps outside of like maybe toxic invis, or if you land next to a stone gauntlet user and you don't have any sort of high ground to use them. So definitely check out the game. Leave a comment. Let me know if you guys want to see more content of this game if you're curious. Obviously check out the streams, because I'm streaming this game once or twice a week, and it's been a lot of fun so far.